Hi, I'm Valerie Showalter, and I'm the pastor at Madison Mennonite Church, which is a part of Mennonite Church USA. There are three central ideas that form the basis of Anabaptist Mennonite faith and practice. And these ideas are: Jesus is the center of our faith, community is the center of our life, and reconciliation is the center of our work. The idea that these three are central for us gives us direction as followers of Jesus. We are continuously asked to consider and discern how we are being called to deeper faith, stronger community, and proactive peace building. And while each of these shape our worship and our way of being with one another and the world, regardless of the broader cultural context, the one I want to focus on for this video project is community is the center of our life. Anabaptists have a long history of being community-minded, caring for one another, practicing mutual aid, fellowshipping, or, as you might be familiar with, the infamous barn raisings of the Amish and other conservative Mennonite orders. There's an awareness that when one suffers, the community suffers, or when one celebrates, the community must celebrate with them. And much of this approach to community life is based in New Testament descriptions of the early church. In the midst of COVID, centering in community and practicing hospitality, fellowshipping with one another has been incredibly challenging. And I'm sure this resonates for you and for churches in our community and beyond. How do we build relationships, nurture one another, feed one another in such a time as this? At Madison Mennonite, we've approached this question from a variety of angles, with both success and failure. Each week, we have a community care call, an informal time of checking in with one another midweek over Zoom. For the first 3 months of COVID, I joined these calls, but they are now completely lay-led, which is another core value of Anabaptists. During Easter, we celebrated a virtual love feast together. Each household was invited to make a comfort food feast and to eat it while following a simple table liturgy with a small group of others on Zoom. It wasn't as good as a dinner party with friends, but there were also fewer dishes. Every Sunday, before our worship on Zoom, we have a short prelude with some centering images that accompany the music. One week, I invited the whole church to send in photos of their home worship space, and I used those images in the prelude as a glimpse into one another's lives and homes. It's a different kind of hospitality, but still a way to welcome others into our sacred spaces. This fall, we are anticipating moving into a new model of pandemic worship. We will continue to have whole church virtual worship 2 Sundays a month, and the other 2 Sundays we are starting what we are calling koinonia groups. These smaller groups will meet in person, once it's a little bit safer to do so, for worship, study, nurture, and fellowship. In essence, we will become a community of communities. My hope is that this temporary approach allows us to care for one another more meaningfully, directly, and sustainably. I also hope that relationships deepen and that trust is built in a way that strengthens the community as a whole. And above all, my hope is that this experimental approach to community draws us closer to God and more compassionately into our work for reconciliation.